Hello, hi. Welcome back to the DevSecOps series on CBOM. So this is the first episode where we are deep diving into what exactly is CBOM and why the applications need the security and what is the cryptography basically and the main core concept of this particular video, what is CBOM and why exactly CBOM is important, the problems without CBOM and how the CBOM overcomes or solves those problems and a quick summary of the out of this particular discussion. So yeah, without further ado, let's have a discussion on this. First thing, the CBOM, which is Cryptographic Bill of Materials, the full form was. So we are going to understand from basic uh, through advanced in further videos also. Okay, so here CBOM is like a ingredients list for the security, which is inside your software. It is just like a food label where it contains the ingredients. So here the CBOM, Cryptographic Bill of Materials, will list all the cryptographic components in an application. Okay, so here if you see further, let us see what exactly, sorry, why exactly we need a application security for the application. I mean, why exactly do we need security for the applications? Okay, so here this is without security and what can be security achieved here. So first of all, let's understand without especially security means encryption. Here, just for example, I was taken. So let's say if there is no encryption, let's say if it is in banking domain, obviously without encryption, your account number, your password, your uh, everything is traveled in a plain readable text, and anyone in the network layer can steal those particular data. Let's say if it is a login page where you added your username, password, and that will be captured by the hackers using a simple technique, which is packet sniffing tools like that. Let's say if it is emails without encryption, each and every email you send that can be read by your internet service provider or anyone in between. Okay, and if it is online shopping, obviously we'll be adding some credit card details, and that will be visible in a plain text, and that will reveal the identity theft, and that will happen in a very fraction of seconds. And with encryption, what it happens was first thing was HTTPS, and then the passwords also hashing of the passwords. So in HTTPS, we are going to secure web browsing. That means when we use HTTPS in your browser, it means all the data. Sorry, it means all the data between your website is encrypted. That means between you as well as your website is encrypted. Let's say a hacker can see what exactly you have visited in the site, but cannot see what exactly you have typed and cannot see what the server was responded. So, and coming to the passwords, where password hashing, it is also one of the security for the application. When websites here websites never store your actual passwords; they need to store the hash value of it. So hash is basically a fingerprint of that particular password. So when a if hacker steals the database, they cannot re-reverse reverse engineer and they cannot find the original password. Okay, so that is the thing can be achieved through the security. And here, encryption is like a writing a letter in a secret language. Only the intended reader knows it. Even if someone intercepts in between and intercepts the envelope, they cannot they just see the rubbish thing only, but they cannot understand. You can understand this like if you see any of the movies. There are certain movies where certain scenes like they communicate in a coded language or something. Okay, so that is what exactly the encryption here is. Now let us understand what exactly is cryptography. So cryptography is a science of protecting the information by transforming it into a unreadable form. So only the authorized people can read it, and it is very much important and a backbone for the digital security, all the digital security. So primarily we can see the encryption and the hashing, and let's see how it works in the real world. So first of all, encryption. Basically, encryption is it converts the readable data, that means a plain text, into a scrambled data. That means it cannot be readable by using a proper key. So only someone with the correct key can decrypt that particular data to a readable format. Here, encryption mechanism AES was the one which is used in HTTPS and VPN encryption, and RSA is the one which is used for digital certificates, and CHA-20 which is used for modern TLS certificates. Here, AES is advanced encryption standard, and RSA, AES 256, which is which it means it uses here 256 bit key length. So it is widely used for HTTPS and VPN and secure storage mechanism. Okay, and RSA, I mean the full form was Rivest, Shamer, and Alderman. So those are the like inventor names. So which is commonly used for digital certificates and secure key exchange as well as SSH. Also, we are going to use this. And coming to the hashing, where it is a one-way function where it converts the data into a fixed length fingerprint. You cannot reverse it. So it is widely used to verify the integrity. That means, I mean, it is not primarily used for security. It is widely used for the integrity. That means we can check whether is it consistent or not, or is it same or not. Okay, maintaining the idempotency or integrity. This is hashing will be used here. Here, the algorithm here was SHA, which is the HA256. SHA is secure hash algorithm, and here the 256 it uses a strong hashing algorithm, and it is primarily used by blockchain and certificates. And here there is a one more algorithm which is SHA1. That means it is also secure hash algorithm, but it is older and considered as a weak encryption algorithm, weak hashing algorithm, not a encryption. It is hashing algorithm, and there is also a bcrypt as well as Argon 2, which is password storage hashing algorithms. So there is no proper full forms for this. And for MD5, this is also a outdated and weak algorithm. We can say MD5 is message digestify. Okay, and coming to the real world usage, like how exactly HTTPS websites use the TLS encryption. TLS, as I said, transport layer security encryption. And here the SSH login uses a RSA as well as ED to 5519 keys. So SSH is a secure shell, and RSA is, as I said, the investor's name. RSA is the key. Okay, digital. I mean, especially for securing the digital um, certificates and secure key exchanges, especially for SSH, we are going to use this key, okay, RSA keys. And coming to the WhatsApp, it uses the E2E encryption. E2E in the sense end-to-end encryption. If you open WhatsApp also, it shows any of the messages. It shows at the end-to-end encryption. And bankings, they use AES and RSA. AES, I already told, full form, Advanced Encryption Standard. And also it uses the RSA. AES plus RSA. And coding signing code signing uses here digital certificates. And here for simple understanding, you can think like encryption is equal to a lockbox that you can open. Okay, and hashing is something a fingerprint scanner, so it is unique per input and it is impossible to reverse. Both are a different ways of a protection mechanism, both encryption and hashing. And now let us see what exactly is CBOM. So the full form of the CBOM was Cryptographic Bill of Materials. So it is a structured inventory of all the cryptographic components which was used inside your software application or the systems. So it primarily includes algorithms, keys, certifications, and protocols. So all in one place, you can see this what exactly the CBOM track includes. Algorithms, which means it shows it tells primarily which encryption method it uses, like ECS 256, RSA 2048, SHA algorithm, what exactly the algorithm, and keys. Basically, it tracks the encryption keys. Their type it will track the length of the keys and where exactly they have used, and is there any weak keys or risky keys used. And it also includes the certificates. That means that SSL, TLS certifications used in the services, and who used them, and what is the expiry date, and is those certificates still valid. Everything will be comes under the certificates. And coming to the protocols, where uh, which security protocols are in use. Let's say, for example, TLS 1.2, TLS 2.1.3, or SSH secure shell. So, and also it identifies is there any old protocols like SSL version 3, which is dangerous. So, these are the four CBOM areas it will focus. And for simple understanding analogy, you can think like CBOM is a food product ingredients label where it will tell us what exactly inside, let's say for fats, sugars, or any additives. So, and also it will tell us is it good to use, or I mean, is it good to consume or not. Okay, so that is what exactly the CBOM does. And coming to who creates the CBOM, so primarily security team, which during the code audits they are responsible to do this. And as a DevSecOps engineer, they need to embed this scanning into the CI/CD pipeline itself through the automated scanning tools like Swift, CycloneDX, OpsMX, and there are multiple tools in the market. Okay, and moving further, where we will be discussing on why exactly CBOM is important. Now, let us understand what exactly the problem without CBOM and what exactly the problem CBOM solves against it, how it solves. Okay, so first thing was weak algorithms still in use. Let's say, for example, MD5, which is old SHA1, which is legacy and considered as a weak hashing algorithms, and yet many applications still uses unknowingly also. So here CBOM will brings a full visibility, and it will knows us each and every single cryptographic component which was used. There is no hiding surprises, and there is a complete audit trail will be available. And another thing was expired TLS certificates. So obviously it causes outages, and there will be a trust failures and security gaps. So in general, it will be discovered too late. So here is the certificate monitoring, where we are going to get alerts before certification as expires, and it will prevents the unexpected service outages and trust issues and everything. Okay, and there is a one more thing, which is unknown crypto uses. That means developers don't even know which cryptographic library the third party code is using. Okay, so here is the uh, I mean, the CBOM will brings the identity, where it will finds what exactly the component uses any of the cryptographic algorithms, certificates, or the protocols. Everything will be identified. Okay, and also it will helps us before it was going to exploit it. Okay, and that is one of the best practice for proactive security. And coming to the quantum risk exposure, so many current algorithms will be broken by the quantum computers. So you cannot imagine what you haven't mapped. So with the CBOM, we will be quantum readiness. That means we can map the current crypto to plan the migration to post quantum algorithm, which is PQC, in advance itself. And also one more important problem was compliance failures. So there will be regulations. The organization should comply with the PS or PCI DSS or HIPPI if it is healthcare. So that requires a approved algorithms, and without CBOM, obviously audits will fail. So with the help of CBOM, we are able to achieve the compliance ready. That means we are able to prove to the auditors what exactly which approved algorithms that was used in the software and the services, and that will be very clear and faster for the audits also. And here it is very much important to understand that mean that was you cannot fix what you don't know. So here the CBOM is the one which gives a security team a complete visibility into their cryptographic landscape. So let's say if there is, there is no chance of hidden surprises, and we can be tackled those items easily, and those risks can be managed without further delays. So that is what exactly the problems without SBOM, and how it solves with the help of CBOM, not SBOM. And we are almost end, where we will be just summarizing. What we have learned was cryptographic basics and what is CBOM and why the CBOM matters. So cryptography is basically encryption and hashing, where it protects the application uh, and the data applications data from the attackers. And the CBOM, where we have primarily seen the four areas where cryptographic components will be shown as a inventory, which is algorithms, keys, certifications, and protocols. And why it matters was obviously it provides a better visibility and risk reduction, and ensures your compliance, as well as it prepares your organizations for the quantum computing era. And in the upcoming videos, we'll be seeing a deep dive into the cryptographic, as well as the SBOM versus CBOM, and how exactly the CBOM uses in the real world, and what exactly the tools will become into picture. We'll be deep diving each and everything in the upcoming videos, and I'll be keeping the information up to date. And this is something new, where the organizations, as well as the new era is evolving. Obviously the things also evolve, so keeping up to date is very much important. So try to share with your fellow colleagues or whoever interested or who in the same domain, so that can be helpful for them, and they can be keep updated themselves. And thanks once again, and stay tuned for more updates. Thank you.